to the NHL Playoff Preview Show right here on CUTV. Let's get started looking at the Eastern Conference matchups. The first one, the 1-8 seed, the Capitals against the New York Rangers. Last year, the New York Rangers were not able to qualify for the playoffs. A little bit of a down year for them. They're used to at least making the playoffs, if not going farther. The Capitals were knocked off in the first round by Montreal, as you see there. You see their records coming into the playoffs. The Capitals with a solid 107 points, 48 wins on the season. The Rangers squeaking into the playoffs, 93 points, 44 wins on the season. However, when you see the season series there, the Rangers have the edge.
Yeah, you take a look at that season series, the Rangers 3-1, but that's when they had Ryan Callahan, and now they don't have Ryan Callahan anymore. And Henrik Lundqvist also a big part of that. This series will be very interesting. I think it'll be a very competitive series because of Henrik Lundqvist. He's going into the season a lot like Yaroslav Halak did against these Capitals last year. So it'll be interesting to see how Lundqvist carries this team.
Yeah, and the one thing that a lot of people forget is the Rangers actually held Alex Ovechkin without a goal in any of those 4 games. So that's a big thing for them, and I think that could go into the playoffs as well. We'll have to see. Lundqvist will have to hold them.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you have the Capitals that were really an offensive-oriented team, a team that everybody said couldn't play defense, and Bruce Boudreau has them playing some very good defense. Their goals against average on the year is 2.33. That's pretty good for them with a younger goaltender back there.
Yeah, this is not the normal Washington Capitals that we've seen in the past 2 playoffs. They're playing a lot more defense. They're more concerned on defense-wise. Alexander Ovechkin's knowing that he's got a different role in this team. He can't be flashy and just go for the goals and everything. They're going to work hard for their goals. They're going to chip away and get those garbage goals. This is a different Washington Capitals team. Getting Jason Arnett in the trade at the trade deadline is a big acquisition for this team.
Yeah, they're going to need Michael Neuwirth to hold the fort there in goal. I think that's really the key. But yeah, Bruce Boudreau's done a great job of converting this team to a more defensive-oriented team.
Absolutely, and let's take a look at our key players. Andy, you can go ahead. And go
I had Michael Neuwirth as the Washington. I mean, he's just going to have to be big for this team. And there's no question about it. That's really been the key, that they've lost the past couple seasons just because of their goaltending. For New York, I had Henrik Lundqvist. So both goaltenders are the guys to watch in this game because I think that's what it's gonna come down to in this series.
Absolutely.
Well, Michael Neuwirth, like you said, Andy, he's a young goaltender. He's going up against Henrik Lundqvist, a veteran, so he's going to have to outduel one of the hottest goaltenders in the league right now. And for the Rangers, I have Chris Drury. He's been out most of this season, but because of Ryan Callahan gone, Chris Drury's now going to have to step up and be the player that we all think that he can be and just try to carry this Rangers offense. Because we know Lundqvist is the key for the Rangers to win, basically, is they're going to win 1-0, 2-1 games.
I agree with you. I think Neuwirth and Drury are going to be your 2 players to watch. I think Drury really is going to have to bring that leadership role to the table. That's something that the Rangers are really going to need if they want to try to knock off this Washington Capitals team. Okay, so let's move on to the second series, the Flyers against the Buffalo Sabres. Very interesting. Last year, Buffalo lost to Boston in the first round. You had the Flyers, who were kind of the surprise team of the East once they got a much easier path when the Capitals got knocked off. So they made it clear to the Cup final last year. And when you look at the records, Philadelphia has 12 losses in overtime to Buffalo's 10. So these are 2 teams that go to overtime quite a bit. And you look at the season series, once again, it's pretty even. Flyers 2-1-1, Buffalo 2-2. It's a pretty even series.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to be a very fun series to watch because Buffalo has a very good defensive team along with Ryan Miller as goaltender. Plus, they have Patrick Roy and Vanek, who can also put the puck in the net for them. And then you look on Philly's side, yeah, they're the reigning Eastern Conference champions. They're still playing as they were playing last year at this time. So it's going to be a fun and very exciting series. Probably very low scoring, too.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the defense. The Sabres are coming in hot. They're 9-1-2 in the last 12 regular season games. So you got to watch out for those hot teams because they can extend that hot streak into the playoffs, and you never know where it could take you.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that Buffalo is a very strong team this year, and I think they have a chance to knock Philly off in 7 games. I actually have them winning the series 4-3.
Yeah, I have Philadelphia winning, but I think it's going to go to 6. games, because Ryan Miller, he's going to step up big in all the games and everything, but he's going to tire down, I believe, and Philly's just going to keep going. They're going to use their experience factor in the playoffs to prevail. So I think Philly in 6.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. I have the Flyers in 6 as well. I think the Sabres. Yeah, they have a great team. They got Ryan Miller, but there's just too much talent on that Philadelphia Flyer team for them to lose.
Okay, so who do you guys think the key players are going to be?
Well, for Philly, I have Claude Giroux. He's had a great season this year. I think the 3 games that he played against the Penguins at home at Consol Energy Center, he had the game-winning goal for each one. So this guy's clutch, and I think this guy's going to come through for the Flyers. And for the Sabres, I obviously have Ryan Miller. I mean, there's really, I'm sure all of us have that. There's really no one else to pick. I mean, it's all going to be on him for them this series.
Yeah, I have Ryan Miller too for Buffalo, but as for Philadelphia, I have Jeff Carter. Jeff Carter came to the league. A lot of people had high expectations for him. He's had a decent year. He's had about 36 goals and 30 assists, so that's 66 points for the guy. He needs to step up in this playoffs for the Flyers, because Claude Giroux, and we all know about him and everything. And I think it's Jeff Carter's turn to come out and show everybody what the player that we all thought he was going to be when he came out.
Definitely. For Philadelphia, I actually have Sergei Bobrovsky, the rookie goaltender, coming in. I think he's going to need to play well for the Flyers in order to outduel Ryan Miller. And for the Sabres, I have Jason Pominville. The guy had 22 goals in the year and 52 points. He's really going to need to step it up and help out the offense if they hope to knock off the Flyers. Okay, moving on to the next series. Very interesting rivalry between these two teams, Boston and Montreal. It should be an intense matchup between the Zdeno Chara incident and just, this is a huge rivalry. It should be a great series to watch if you're a hockey fan.
Yeah, the rivalry existed way before even the Zdeno Chara hit, and that's just going to fuels the fire, I guess you would call it. Montreal won 3 of the 4 games in the series, but I think Boston comes out with this one. Tim Thomas is going to have to be huge, but I think he will be huge. There's a lot of skill on Boston as well defensively, so I think they'll take it.
When I saw the season winding down and I saw this playoff match and its eventual playoff matchup, I was hoping that it'd stay the same. I mean, these two teams, this year alone, has just added to this heated rivalry, and then all the entire time these two teams being existed, because these are original 6 teams.
Right.
You have all these legends that have played for both sides. This is just going to be a great series. I think it's going to go 7, maybe 6, but I think it's going to go 7 because these two teams are just really good. Carey Price is playing like Yaroslav Halak did last year. I think it's going to be a great series. Great goaltending match with Thomas and Price.
Absolutely, and I think that those games in Montreal, games 3 and 4 at least, are going to be intense for every team. Chara is going to be getting booed every time he touches the puck. Penguins fans saw it last year with Crosby. It's going to be the same thing, if not worse. So it should be quite interesting. I think Boston's going to win out in 6 games, though. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I have Boston in 6 games as well.
I think it'll go 7. I think it's just one of those series that I think it's just going to go 7. I think there'll be a couple overtime games, obviously, probably in Montreal, because it'll be crazy up there. We all know it's like Europe soccer over there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome series.
Definitely. Now let's move on to our last matchup in the East, the one that most of our viewers will probably be watching. The Penguins against the Lightning. Obviously a key story. Will he or won't he? Sidney Crosby, will he be back? Will he not be back right now? He's not back. They still have to play well going into the playoffs against a very tough Lightning team.
Yeah, Tampa Bay, LeCavier, Stamkos, St. Louis, they're going to have to step up to try to beat Marc-Andre Fleury, who's probably among the contenders for the Hart Trophy. The Penguins are going to have to count on Marc-Andre Fleury as well, and they're going to need their offense to step up too, because you can't underestimate Dwayne Rolston with all the experience he has.
Yeah, you just saw that graphic on there. 103 points Tampa Bay, 106 Penguins. Both teams 2-2 in the season series, splitting it. These two teams are very even. I really like it. If Crosby was playing, I think the series would get a lot more attention, and it'd be probably a little bit more exciting. But this is still going to be a very exciting, fun series to watch, because you have Stamkos, you have the power of him, you have St. Louis, the young 5'7", 160-pound guy skating around, avoiding defenders left and right. I think it's going to be a great series. I'm pretty sure the Penguins will pull it out because of a little bit more experience, but there is experience on that Tampa Bay team with Rolison, LeCavier, and St. Louis.
Absolutely. I think everybody remembers the amazing run that Rolison took the Oilers on once he became their #1 goalie until he got injured in the final. That was incredible. You also have St. Louis, who is one of the toughest players, I think, in the NHL. You have LeCavier, who can definitely bring his leadership. I think the Penguins, though, are going to prevail. I think they're going to win the series 4-1.
Yeah, I have the Penguins in 6. I think, this is going to be a great series, like we just said. But I think it's going to come down to 6 games. It's not going to be easy for the Pittsburgh Penguins to get past the Tampa Bay Lightning because they do have a lot of talent.
Yeah, I think, Allison, you hit it on. It could be a 5-game series. It could be a very quick one, but it also could be a 7-game or 6-game series. We're not really 100% sure on this. I mean, when I was trying to pick this series, I kind of flipped a coin to see what team I really wanted because these are two teams you don't really know. Because Tampa Bay, you're not 100% sure what they're going to bring because they have that leadership, then they have the young talent. But Penguins have a little bit more experience, and they're playing very good defense going into these playoffs. Yeah,
key players to watch. Andy?
For Pittsburgh, it's obviously going to be Marc-Andre Fleury. He's been on fire, to say the least. So you got to watch him. I mean, he can steal some games for you, and every game you steal in the playoffs is huge. It's a race to 4. But for the Tampa Bay Lightning, I have Marty St. Louis. I think he's very experienced, very fast, can still shoot that puck. A lot of leadership. He's won a cup before. He's going to be huge for them.
I think Alexei Kovalev for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's coming back, got the trade and everything. They're going to try to see how he does when he comes back, and I think he's going to have that playoff experience added to it. And then for Tampa Bay, Steven Stamkos, everyone's saying he's the next best player in the league, right behind Crosby. They're 1-2 with Taves at 3. I think Steven Stamkos, if he wants to legitimize himself as a top player in this league, he's going to have to show up in this series.
I agree with both of you. Right now, I have James Neal, who should be a huge addition for the Penguins. They got him at the trade deadline. He's been getting his opportunities so far this season, but he hasn't been cashing in on them while he's been in a Penguins uniform. I think he will in this series. And you also have Dwayne Rolison, who I think is going to have to outduel Marc-Andre Fleury and really just stand on his head if he hopes to win this series.
Yeah, James Neal's a good pick. I mean, he's getting more chances in Pittsburgh than he did in Dallas. So eventually those pucks are going to go in the net, and yeah, he's a guy to watch as well.
Yeah, as you said with Dwayne Rolison and the Marc-Andre Fleury battle, it's going to be a fun goaltending matchup. I think every really goaltending matchup in these playoffs are really good. I can't really because we'll talk about the West, but you have Luongo against Crawford. You got a couple of veterans versus rookies in these playoffs. This is a very, very exciting playoffs here in the NHL.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean the goalies, as normally is in the playoffs, could always decide the series. If you have bad goaltending or amazing goaltending, that can completely change the dynamic of the series.
Yeah, we've seen it before, and we'll probably see it again this year.
Yep. All right, well, coming up next, we're going to preview all of the West series, so stay tuned.